Is it time to buy or sell Ethereum? First off, read this disclaimer carefully. And do your good deed of the day by liking and subscribing. So Ethereum is here. We do have 17% here from the 52-week low, minus 59% away from the highs. So we are very much so still in a bear market. So welcome to Ethereum, the only community-run technology powering the cryptocurrency Ether and thousands of decentralized applications. Yeah, they do have a nice website, but you can see here by the design is that they are primarily appealing to younger people. It might be that going forward, it becomes more important to appeal to the more mature audience. Yeah, because they have a lot more financial power than the younger generations. So here are the weekly data points. Big picture, we have seen, a very big bear market. The thing is that we had this, we have this head and shoulders pattern, and we are really dangerously testing the neckline. We have lost the blue 100 weekly moving average. That is not good. We haven't shattered horizontal support yet, but previous week here you can see with the wick, it got a bit dangerous. Bulls did come in to save Ethereum, but we can't gamble on those kinds of rescue missions going forward. So it is extremely important that these lows hold. Further, we need people to actually push Ethereum higher. So it's not simply sufficient to just prevent, break of horizontal support. You further just need to have a new trend, meaning going from a downtrend to an uptrend. And currently, the bears, they have the most chips on their table. I mean, they have won a lot of games. They have taken out a bunch of moving averages, horizontal support levels as well. But they still have not been able to, thankfully, the bulls should say, they have not taken out these horizontal supports yet. If these supports here and also here are taken out, that would be a disaster. Let's look a bit at these, RSIs. Yeah, so based on this is interesting though. This is an opportunity here for the bulls, and this is not an opportunity they can just let go to waste. So the previous time you had this RSI level was back here. That did lead to, let's measure it. Oh yeah, a very healthy 100 plus percentage gain. But back in 2018, we were much lower. The current RSI level, it also formed, did it? Let's zoom in a bit to get a bit of an accurate measurement. Yes, it did form this low, which resulted in, approaching 30-ish percent gain. So basically, the current weekly RSI level, it has some history of attracting bulls, so it ought to do that again. If that does not happen, then we have seen that based on history, Ethereum has definitively can go lower. Looking at the daily data points here also, very low end of RSI and also numerous PPOs. So this is a level where we expect the bulls to at least try to form a low. So I will write horizontal support plus RSI. Yeah, I will give the technicals yeah, what will I give them? I think I will give the bulls a 2. The primary reason why I'm being very cautiously optimistic here, that is because there's been so many opportunities now for the bulls to form a kilo on Ethereum that they haven't really followed through. That's the thing. It's not simply about stopping the bears in their tracks. You need to have a follow through in order to scare the bears out of their positions, because the bears, who are shorting Ethereum, they have a bunch of stop loss levels, above, the current price, different levels above the current price, and they will only begin to cover their shorts if there is uh, some buildup of momentum to the upside. If we just have these weak bounces, then they are not going to be spooked. If anything, they are going to use the bounces to add to their shorts. But yeah, I do think this is a bullish opportunity. But yeah, we need to see a lot more confidence from the bulls for me to give them any higher rating than 2. Looking to the right here, we do have the seasonality forecaster, and that one is it's bullish. We do see that May usually is a strong month, then June and early July is weak. Then later into July and early August, we see some bullish seasonality. To the left here, over the last 5 years, May is the second weakest month. It only closes higher 40% of the time, so that's an issue. And when we go a bit bigger picture, 8 years, this is not what you want to see if you are feeling, well, if you are looking for bullish opportunities for Ethereum. This is just not good seasonality. The caveat is that even though May only closes higher 57% of the time, it usually has a 46% gain. So May has the potentiality to offer some strength. The problem with the coming months, June, July, August, September, is that they decrease the probability that we will form a long-term low for Ethereum. So, the seasonality data, it's interesting for the current month, and the current month obviously is most relevant. So I do think I will give the bulls here, what will I give them? I think maybe I will give them a 4, but this is a 4 with the caveat that this is a 4 primarily for this month. There's a decent probability now that we could get a bit of a bounce, but a longer term low, yeah, well, it is more difficult at least to form a long-term low when you have mediocre seasonality for the following months. Because for a longer-term low to form, you need to have bulls continually adding fuel to their positions. In terms of the fundamentals, as I have said before, I do not believe there are any fundamentals when it comes to Ethereum that can predict the future action of investors. There's just far too much disconnect. Okay, so next on we will look at relative performance. So here are the weekly data points. So we do have a 94% positive correlation with the S&P 500, 92% with Bitcoin. So a stronger correlation with the S&P 500 than Bitcoin. Then we have 42% positive with gold, minus 24% with the dollar index. Daily data points, 84% with the S&P 500, 94% with the Bitcoin, and minus 33% with gold, then minus 45% with the dollar index. So unsurprisingly, what happens with Bitcoin is going to have the biggest effect on Ethereum. Not a huge shocker. This is an ugly chart. So this is yeah, we had horizontal support and it broke. It just broke. So we had horizontal support here and here and here. Those were the wicks. Looking at closing prices, you have these horizontal levels, and we are now significantly below. That is not what you want to see if you are bullish. Looking at RSI, there's potentially some hope. But we then have to go way back here because we are at a very low RSI level. That's the thing. So this is from way back in 2018. Let's zoom in a bit. Yeah, so you do see that the current RSI level, it did form a longer term low for Bitcoin. If we go even further back here to 2015, so let's find that. So yeah, in this case, the current RSI level formed a very long-term low. So that's some possible sources of optimism in this time of bad news. The problem is that when we looked back, the actual chart looked more constructive. In this case, you do have this long-term consolidation pattern. So we have consolidated now for, yeah. So we have consolidated now for 504 days. And so far, looking at the chart, we just have a break down, not a break out, but a break down. Looking at the daily data points, so the only hopeful thing I see here for the bulls is that we are rather oversold. That's it. Here is the relationship between Ethereum and Bitcoin. So you see that this period, it has been consolidating for some time. You could make the case here. So let me draw it in that, okay, so that was a bit small. So there's something a bit head and shoulder-ish happening here with this pair. So let's look a bit here at the seasonality. Yeah, over the last 7 years in blue and 5 years in green, Ethereum usually outperforms Bitcoin leading into early June. So that's interesting. That's, a bit of an edge. Okay, so let's now look at Bitcoin against, yeah, what should we take? Maybe we should take gold. Let's just do the GLD. So here we can see, yeah, there's a very ugly loss of horizontal support. Horizontal support level that formed over a longer period. So let me just draw it in. Yeah, super important support here, but we are now below. Yeah, so let's look a bit at yeah, RSI. We are at that low-ish level of RSI, but not like a screaming low level. When we look at seasonality, yeah, Bitcoin usually underperforms a bit more vis-a-vis gold leading into late May, and then we see some outperformance from Bitcoin. I think I will give the relative performance a -3. So we end up with a 1. So the data is more favorable to bullish positions than bearish, but an absolutely key part of this thesis is horizontal support and RSI support. If we do not see bulls, run into to the market to buy Ethereum at these levels, and given the context then that is something that the bears are going to notice. They are because they can make a lot of money, huge money, if they can trigger a full bore break here of this support level. We did see something rather ugly with Bitcoin, but Ethereum, it's even though Bitcoin is like the king of the cryptos, Ethereum has a lot of bells and whistles, and it's very actively developed. We could actually have a situation where Ethereum, does well, while Bitcoin underperforms. Whatever you do, of course, you want to use stop levels because the market is very, very wild. I think it is very prudent to look for both bullish and bearish opportunities in this market. I do, of course, understand why it can be very appealing in a downtrending market to be like, oh, go full bore, bearish. But I've seen people, during the global financial crisis do that. During the 2020 lockdown do that. Go full bore bearish, no bullish positions, and they were late, very late when it came to shifting from bearish to bullish, because they were in full bear mode. So I think it's very healthy to have the balance, because there have been many times in the market where the current setup has formed key lows that worked longer term. There's also been situations where we had a major bear market, but you had a protracted period where the bulls tried to trigger a recovery that eventually failed. But if you during that attempted recovery phase that went full bear, then you would get killed. So yeah, it's very important to just respect that we currently do not know how the market is going to look like in 2023. We don't know that. So you have to assume that the current uh, situation we have in the market is going to be similar to something we have seen before, but also have its own unique wrinkles. And it's by trying to find those that's where the biggest gains will be made.